This is going to get you hitting irons better than you've ever hit them before, and you're going to want this feeling on all of your shots. So what is it actually going to target? Well, it's going to target and get you to be able to hit down on the golf ball more consistently. Most golfers who struggle with their irons are too shallow. It's also going to help you hit the golf ball a little bit more from the inside. Again, most golfers that struggle with the irons are too much on the outside, swiping across the golf ball. And if you can hit more from the inside and you can start to compress the golf ball more, trust me, these shots are going to feel better than almost anything you've hit before. So let's start with how we hit down on the golf ball. Then we'll move on to how to hit from the inside, and then we'll put them together and I'll show you how to execute the drill in one go. Board is going to be slightly forward and your weight is going to be fractionally more on that lead side. When we make contact with the ball, we have to have the low point of your swing target side of the ball. To non-negotiable. We have to do that. If we don't, we get thins, we get fats. So your circle that you swing on in the golf swing has got to get shifted towards the target. That moves the low point target side. So if I was to take my setup and move into an impact position, what I would really want to be doing is having my hips more forwards, having the handle more forwards, and if anything, having my sternum slightly more forwards. The sternum is going to be less forwards at impact relative to the hips, but the last thing we want is to have anything back, back, back. That's going to cause the low point to be back here. You're not going to get great shots from there. So what do we need to do in this little exercise, in this drill, to make sure that happens? Well, we're going to move forward by a significant amount. And as we move forward, we're going to move down. So let me show what that move would look like. We're going to go backswing, and then you're going to be moving forwards and down. So you can see how I've moved closer to the target and closer to the ground. Now, very simply, because I've moved closer to the target and closer to the ground, what's that done to my circle? Well, it's shifted it forwards and it's moved it down. So my low point is now this side of the ball and underground. What would that mean for the shots? Well, it means that I would hit the golf ball first and then I would continue into the ground. And obviously we'll do that in a moment and demonstrate it. This is phenomenal for ball striking. Now, in that demonstration, yes, I've moved too much, I've moved exaggerated, but this is a drill. I want you to explore these movements. I want you to go out of your comfort zone. Many of you who are really struggling with your irons have probably never hit a golf ball where you are enough in front of the golf ball. So let's really exaggerate it. Because what's going to happen if you exaggerate it too much? Well, you're going to get too much compression. You're going to get too low a launch angle. You're going to get handled too far forward. That's fine. All that's going to happen is you're going to get these shots that feel incredible, but just fly a little bit too low. But that's absolutely what we want to try and feel. So the first part of this drill is just to learn how to, from the top, shift forwards and down by a significant amount. Yes, we would want less of this in a golf swing, but as a rehearsal, that's a great feeling for you. I guarantee you, if you put your video or your swing on video, many of you are going to be back here, head back, hips back, really difficult to play golf from there. So that is the part of the drill that targets the attack angle. We need to get you to hit it from the inside. So there's another part to this drill. And as I put these two parts together, I'm sure you can tell me in the comments who does this drill and who this would remind you of. I'm sure many of you are going to know that. When I get to the top of my backswing, let's say I've made a pretty good shape of backswing. If I keep the relationship between my arm and my chest the same, and I add some rotation, the club, the hands are going to get pushed out towards the golf ball too soon. That now gets my hands too much out this way, it gets the club too steep. From here, I'm going to be cutting across the golf ball. Very difficult to hit from the inside, very difficult to hit straight shots. I'm going to hit pulls, fades, slices, weak shots. How do we get the golf club into a better delivery position? Well, from here, if I was to keep my chest facing you and work my right hand down behind me, that lowers the golf club. Okay? We're not talking about shallowing. Shallowing would be changing the angle of the golf club. We're simply looking at lowering the golf club. Because if I lower the golf club, my chest is still facing you. Look at where the club is now relative to my hands. That's a very different position to what we saw a moment ago. Hands are much more in, club is much more behind my hand. If I now add my rotation, how does the golf club approach the golf ball? Very much from the inside. So yes, we need rotation. And yes, we need the arms to move down, but the order is really important. So if we go arms down, add rotation, we get the club approaching from the inside. So that little part of the drill takes care of where we approach the golf ball from. The first part of the drill helps us with our strike. Let's put them together. If we put them together, we get phenomenally struck golf shots and we get the club approaching from the inside. So if I put those two movements together, and we'll show you this from both angles, here's what the drill looks like. We go backswing, we shift, we move down and we lower the arms. That's where I want you to now deliver the club from. Once I stop here for a few seconds, notice that my body is pretty close off to my target, arms have lowered, I can now add some rotation. As I add that rotation, I can start to push up. And even though I'm pushing up and I feel like I'm moving away from the ground, the club head can still be going down, and it will be going down because of the things that you've done. Let me hit you a shot and show you what that would look like as we put it all together. What did we get in the ball flight? Low. That's exactly what we want. Little draw, what does that tell you? Approach it from the inside. And if you have a look at the ground, I've got this alignment stick here. That shows you where my ball position was. If I put another ball in, although I didn't take a huge divot because my speed was low, look where I contacted the ground. I contacted the ground after the golf ball. Hopefully you can see that there, that I've sort of impacted the ground here. That's where my golf ball was. So in one shot, I got compression, because you saw the ball flight, it was nice and low. I got ground contact target side of the ball. I know that was a pure strike. I got slight draw, so I know I hit it from the inside. So everything I wanted to happen, happened. Because of those two elements in that drill. Because I lowered my arms, I shifted. That's what great players do. It doesn't look like that because they're doing it in mid-swing and it takes milliseconds. But that is what they're doing. You contrast that to how well or how solid can I hit this golf ball if I make a backswing, I keep my hands up high, I spin out, weight is going back, hands are going out. I mean, I'm going to be swiping across this golf ball. And in fact, if I try and do that as a swing, so I'm going to go back, I'm going to keep the hands high and spin. I mean, we get a left to right shot, very different ball flight, less compression, less solid, it's not going to go as far, it's not going to be as good. And then once you can start to scale it up, it's going to be such an addictive feeling for you to hit golf balls this way. So let's see if I can put that all together.